quickest get on
Hey, what's
ever,
going
isn't
on?
it?
Oh, you there?
You can't hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I had a plugged in the headphone jack, and I was like, why am I not hearing anything? How you doing?
Got it. That was the quickest from sent the link to connected I think we've ever had, is what I was
Oh,
saying.
really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
You know, I gotta say, I don't know how it is with you and your devices, but if I had to say what bogs down any of my devices, the most, I found it's surprisingly for me, it's been some kind of text typing, you know,
Uh,
um, which doesn't make sense. I mean, so many times I'm trying to just like type something, it just seems like it just stalls out, and it's not, putting the text up on the screen that I'm typing, whether it's a laptop or phone. And hang on, I sent Jordan the link. I mean, just in case he happens to want to jump on, but he's never going to jump on. He's just always too busy, I think. But it's nice
dude,
to. I mean, we discussed it at one point. I said, well, yeah. I mean, I'll just send you a link every once in a while, and if you're not doing anything, then jump on. Oh yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I was just trying to. I just opened up my laptop, and I'm just trying to type. Go to compose message in my email, and I'm just typing and the stuff, and it's just like it just it types one letter, then it stalls out, starts spiraling, and then types a couple more letters, and then it just like the cursor just disappears, and then it um like a minute goes by, and then it just like just like types in everything that I fills
yeah,
in. I mean,
yeah.
it's just not. I don't understand what the deal is with that. Like, and that's it's way on like the different phones I've had. The same deal. It's like when it gets bogged down and tied up, it's always like some text related thing. I would think that video or loading a screen would be the thing that would eat up memory or something. I mean, maybe there's some kind of weird thing about text that's like harder for phones to do than. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, no, I don't know anything about it, but maybe somehow text takes, maybe it jumps the priority line of, you know, items to accomplish. But more important than that, your hair today. First of all, I could tell when you were moving around that you're swinging it a little differently because of the way it looks.
Yeah.
And secondly, this is whose hair it reminds me of. I mean, you've got Sebastian Bach
Oh, that's good.
hair
I
going
love it.
today.
Yeah, I just was trying to futz with it, while I was waiting for you to come on, and then it just went like that. It did the just put it in the opposite direction that it was, because usually it's like this way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
And
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm just gonna leave it like that.
Um, so we were talking on the phone and then you
Oh yeah,
had
you
a
asked me. You said, have you heard Vivaldi?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
or do I like Vivaldi? Yeah, I hope that you asked if I heard Vivaldi. Which of course I have, and yeah, and I like Vivaldi. I like him. I guess second to Bach as far as that period of the Baroque style of classical music goes. But anyway,
Yeah.
I said, well, why don't we just start a video? But so you were saying though, if you can remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I was, like I was really into a couple of some of the Vivaldi stuff that I mean, I gravitate to certain ones, but so I'd send some to Daniel, just like, hey man, listen to this one, listen to that one. and then we'd talk about it a little bit afterward. And, we started making jokes at some point about, fantasizing about about Vivaldi falling into the circle of fifths trap, you know, and the joke was he doesn't know how to get out of it. I mean, they just didn't learn that yet. Yeah, it just wasn't a thing. So it's like, his technique, his compositional technique is like, okay, the only way I can get into the circle of fifths or to get out of it is to scare myself into it or out of it. There's no easy harmonic way to do that. So it's like like horror movie
Yeah,
stabs. And
yeah.
the joke Daniel and I would make is, don't worry, Vivaldi, we got to save the world, we got to save the universe, but we're coming back for you. Just like throwing him a rope as he's falling into the quicksand of of the circle of fifths. Just just, he's like getting himself, right before he takes his last breath.
Oh my God.
And
Oh man.
we went on to even say, we're not going to save you, Vivaldi, because that's dishonorable. We're gonna throw the rope down off the horse so that you can save yourself. We're gonna let you save yourself from it. We're not gonna save you. That's how much
Oh
we think of
man.
you. So, and I've told that story. So sometimes at night I'll listen with my son to the Vivaldi stuff, and I've told him about that, and he thinks I think he gets it. Kids get it. So
It's funny.
that was my story, and it made you want to do a video on it.
Yeah, man. When you first said Vivaldi is falls into the circle of fist trap, I thought you were going to go in the direction, or what it made me think of is like I imagine the circle of fists, visually, and like each item on the circle as being like teeth in a bear trap, and it just
Yeah,
I thought that you were going to go some direction like that, but man, even better.
it's not that far from that. Yeah, they're definitely related.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I mean, and even Bach and definitely Mozart, has a more sophisticated Mozart has a sophisticated way to dip in there and to dip back out of it. Just it's not he doesn't have to scare himself with horror movie string
Yeah.
stabs to get in there and get out.
Yeah, I'm like, not that they had mirrors back then, but when Vivaldi's staring at his reflection in the pond, um, I imagine, it's like us as kids, who had mirrors, just like looking at it and going like, and oh my God, that's so fucking scary. It's so fucking
Yeah,
scary,
yeah.
but he's doing it musically.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, So, but yeah, you mentioned Mozart, which is, I mean, the reason why I was just like, maybe we should jump on a video and just see where it goes with the talk, having a conversation about it for 10 people to watch. But it, you know, I mean, I don't like, at a certain point, I realized like, I don't like anything from Baroque era. I mean, I like Baroque era classical music, but I don't like, like Beethoven and Mozart, and then anything from the Romantic period. I mean, there's some things from the Romantic period that I like, but then it's like not until the very late 1800s or where it starts getting into like some impressionistic stuff, and then but then once it starts into like the modern classical era, you know, um, in the early 1900s, then I start being interested in it again. It's just something about the harmony or lack of interesting. I mean, I guess they decided, that they could do certain things differently. They found like ways to get out of the circle of fifths trap, as I guess you'd say. But you know, it's like they got hung up on that, and like the harmony suffered. So I mean, to me, the harmony is not as enjoyable until you get into like whatever, like Stravinsky and Charles
Right.
Ives, and just stuff where there's some interest. I mean that it's like, but before that, but with the Baroque, I mean, something about the mechanical, just the technical circle of fifths trap stuff or whatever, the voice, the counterpoint and the voice leading, and having the adhering to those rules, somehow it's like, this, it's like guaranteed to be good, to some
Right.
degree.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's interesting stuff. It's like they were trapped by the circle of fifths. Um, so the harmony didn't suffer, then they just like, but then you get out of that, and they, in Mozart, Beethoven, and and then especially romantic period, it's just like they just like these other elements of like rhythm, or drawing out the melody, that kind of stuff was too much of a distraction, gave too much freedom, so it made to me, make the harmony worse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I mean, and I don't claim to like no be much of an authority on any of it, but you're right. I mean, the circle of fifth stuff, it's always going to provide that like uh sectionally triumphant s- sonic stuff. It's coming sooner or later. So it's predictable, but in a good way. So it's like there's an anticipation of it, and then a wondering how they're going to get out of it. Like a curiosity about that. Where I don't know, Mozart to me is, and I like it, a lot of it. I mean, I don't, the shit that I don't like, I just refer back to the movie and I think, oh, that was probably commissioned by the court, or something, or
Yeah.
something like that. It was a
Yeah.
commissioned painting, but you can definitely hear the like playful motivic development in some of his stuff that that's like songwriting is now, or at least it's like what Daniel and I were doing with just playing with stuff and playing with motifs until taking it too far. It's almost annoying. I mean, it's annoying. I'm gonna play the same motif like this and like this and like this and like this. And you thought I was finished, but I'm not finished. I'm just in the middle of another um, round of the same motif with a different type of development or something. So it's not about the harmonic composition for me with him. It's more about
Hmm.
seeing how it's imagining him snickering at it, a little bit. Like he gets trapped in the motif. That I'll just put it like that. He gets trapped in the motif instead of the circle, so
Yeah.
he's taken it somewhere else, but and the circle is not the barrier for him.
Yeah.
It's it's his own idea. It's his own dumb idea. you know
You mentioned the movie. I mean, I just want to mention it while we're thinking about it. But I see now. Now I don't like how my hair looks. Something happened. I don't. I mean, I thought it looked like. I mean, in my vision, it looked cool at first. Okay, now that's starting to look cool again. There we go.
yeah, it's the
But you need
it's
that
the
on top.
front wave. Yeah. The front tendril.
There.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we got a rogue tendril. It's going rogue there. Oh, and there's no fixing it. It's just gonna keep something's. It's not gonna be right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You
Okay.
need a you need one of your kids' banana clips.
Yeah. um, my, what it reminded me of, thinking about the movie Amadeus. I mean, I guess I was that was like a memorable movie for me when I was a kid. Just
Ditto.
whatever, right at perfect time, just seeing, something about it. It was like there's something that was like kind of shocking about it, or just like that scared me, and things that, just I don't know. There's a lot of different things. It's like your parents let you watch it,
Yeah.
because but it's really not for kids. Maybe I don't know. But for some reason, my sister and I, like, um, it's just like we were talking about. Okay, I'm trying to recall this while I'm speaking, so it's, bear with me. It might be a little more broken up than usual, but so as we're discussing it, just like whatever in the back seat of a car, or I don't know what, because there's no, obviously we don't have any devices, and we're just like talking about shit that affected us or something. I don't know. It's in some setting. Um, I guess we decided that the part where he's singing, like barely like alive, and trying to like sing
Yeah.
parts of Salieri, um, at toward the end, that seemed like really striking to us or something, so we were
Yeah.
imitating it. And then for some reason, we made like a pact, how, you just like, just like a sibling, some kind of like nonsensical pact, like, what, we need to do this when we're constipated on the toilet. We need to sing that, so it's like, what does that mean? Or why would you do that? So
Yeah.
we did that. I mean, I did it, and my sister said she did. So it's just like I just have memories of on childhood sitting on the toilet and being like not having enough water or something throughout the day, and just having a huge kid turd. I'm trying to get out. I'm like, oh, Jamaica, oh, Jamaica. Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's exactly it or not. I mean, but
Yeah.
we should watch that. I wish, damn, I wish I'd, try to find a video just to hold up to the, camera to see how that was in relation to it.
Damn, that's good. That's good. No, that but the movie was impactful like that for me too. We had it on VHS, 3 hour plus VHS,
Yeah.
deal, and I watched it over and over, and same thing. It was scary, and I knew there were, sexual parts of it with the boobs, with
Dude,
the
I was just gonna
boobs
ask
being,
you, like, how did you feel about with the when she was like at the party and had the little cookies, or the little, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah, all that stuff, and then,
yeah,
I mean, and the boobs looked like the cookie thing that stuck
yeah,
to the,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
to the thing and stuff.
Man,
I mean, it was naughty, and I probably didn't understand it, but I knew it was something bubbly and sexy. There's something like that to
yeah,
it.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so weird just thinking of things like that, just you know, affecting kids at some core level, just everywhere around the world. You just see this, and it just like
Yeah.
taps into some base
And
thing.
yeah, so well, I think the movie, you're right. The movie came out at a time in both of our lives when we were just able to understand, music, fear, and sex on a level. Didn't know what to do with it, but you know, uh, I mean, Salieri was the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Probably still is in the in the wheelchair. That wasn't that wasn't Mozart laughing at me. It was God. It was God. And it's just like it's deep. And when they're, traipsing through the streets with the dead body,
Yeah. Oh man.
and on the back of the carriage, and the bodies, going around, and they just dump it in the mass grave and everything. And
Yeah.
and
Oh, the
then the
masquerade ball. Oh, that was, yeah. I mean, that was
dude,
terrifying.
and the dad, or the fake dad, the ghost of the dad,
Oh man.
of Mozart's dad, with the with the hat, with the two-sided hat thing.
Jesus.
And then and Tom Hulce did such a good job
Oh my
on that
God.
movie. It made me look, I mean, I've looked him up several times to be like,
Yeah.
what else has this genius done? Where is he? What's happened? And it's just like, he just like we received it, he just sent that out into the universe at the perfect time in his development. And it was also set perfectly in the post-punk era or punk era, when you know, the hair could be punky and his attitude
Yeah.
was punky, and
Yeah. That's
and it
that's a good
was
point.
what year do you think that came out? Like maybe 84,
Yeah,
something?
that sounds about right. 84, because, yeah, I mean, and you know what? I don't know this. Was the Falco song was not part of the soundtrack, was it? I mean, it's one of those things where you just, as a kid, you just assume that those two things,
Right.
just you grow up and you never think about it until, you're 50 years old and you're like, wait a second, now I have a chance to think about it as an adult. That wasn't part of the
I don't know.
soundtrack,
I
was it?
don't know. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say it can't, like the movie
Yeah,
was popular and then Falco
yeah,
rode its
that makes sense.
um rode its centuries ago coattails.
Um, oh, what is it? Oh, yeah, Tom Hulse. I mean, it's just like, that's another thing. It's like you can't see a movie like that without, like, I need to know who this person is, and their name
Yeah.
is just burned in your brain. And he's a guy that, to me, seems like he's kind of cut from the same cloth as Tim Curry.
Yeah,
It's like a
yeah, I can see that.
Tom Hulse, Tim Curry. Just they seem like, you know,
Yeah,
like I could see Tim Curry as Mozart as well.
agreed. And
Tom
Tim
Hulse is
Curry,
Rocky Horror. Yeah,
Tim,
he
Tim
was he
Curry
was he was
was
in
in,
that, wasn't he?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tom
No,
Hulse
but
was. No,
oh no, oh no.
I want to say,
I
I
don't
just watched him
know.
now. I want to put him in there.
I mean, I don't know, but
It's not obviously not the main character, but some other
have
character.
Tim Curry is in what is it?
Clue's another for me. That was another one that was like really
Oh,
stood
I didn't
out.
see that one.
You didn't see Clue?
Okay, I'll probably have to
Oh my
watch
God!
that.
See, no, to me that was like Amadeus as well. It was somehow, it's like, there's something fancy about it, or I don't know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
something that made parents like let kids watch it. And there's the same kind of deal. It was like some kind of like old world risque element, and with like made costumes and boobs, um and then some kind of like perceived higher level of acting and credibility, but somehow there's like a punk rock um guy front man, in the on the cast. But
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. Oh man, that's really too bad. That really makes me sad that you don't have that. God, you didn't.
Memory. Uh, I'll watch it now though. I mean,
Well,
I'm not.
so it had three or four endings. They showed different endings at different theaters. To get
Oh
people
wow.
to get people to go see the movie multiple times. Um, so that it definitely worked for me, and
Okay.
yeah, it was great.
Um, Tim Curry was in Home Alone.
What? He was?
Yeah,
Where?
he was the butler, or yeah, or door
Butler.
guy or butler or something.
Wait. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Like he was running around trying to
Yes,
find out
yeah,
that
yeah,
Kevin's
yeah.
dad wasn't there, and then Kevin would
Yeah,
put the
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's right.
I didn't put him together. Like I didn't, I mean, I knew he looked familiar and he was playing the perfect snooty butler guy, but then I was like, man, who is that guy? And it came together, because I've obviously had to watch that a bunch as a dad.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, me too. I mean, but I guess maybe I feel like that's one of the movies that, I've seen the same parts a million times,
yeah,
and then certain
yeah,
parts I just I are kept from me, somehow I don't see them.
yeah. That's the part that the kids want you to do something. You're going to get popcorn and
Yeah,
stuff like
that's
that.
right. Okay, no, it's coming back. I mean, I've seen it though, and yeah, it's coming back to me now. Yeah. Um,
I had a movie, my other movie around the same time period was a weird, obscure one, and you probably won't know it, but it's Birdie. Do you know that movie?
yeah, it's that Nathan Lane and Robin Williams. No,
No.
what am I thinking of? Birdcage?
Birdcage.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Birdie. I just,
Birdie was like Matthew Modine was in it.
hmm.
Um, he was he played the he played George McFly in Back to the Future.
Crispin Glover. Crispin Glover.
No,
What?
that was Crispin Glover.
I'm confused now.
No,
Wait.
that was Crispin Glover. You were right.
Oh,
I'm trying to think about what I was wrong about. But anyway, yeah. I'll have to find out what that one was because I guess it wasn't. No, it wasn't Crispin Glover. He was maybe he was in some other movie that was a teenage type movie in the late '90s or something. Anyway, Birdie was a horrible thing for a kid to watch. It was like it's basically about um the the Vietnam War and a guy that sort of had mental problems and thought he was a bird. And Nicolas Cage was in it.
hmm,
It was really good, but it was one of those ones that I watched over and over, like as a maybe 11 or 12-year old. And I don't know why. Like I don't know why. There was just something
hmm.
cool. It was cool and thrilling, and I barely understood it. Just it was a barely understood that one and
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, just thinking about. I mean, I wonder if that happens. I mean, what it makes me think is that, you know, are we just kind of we're because we didn't have devices and all this. I mean, I wonder if this happens to our kids, now, like in that way. I would think not as much because it's like you have too many opportunities to just kind of like your get back into your comfort zone or just be distracted by the things that you want to be distracted by instead of
right.
facing certain things because of lack of entertainment options.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, when you only have five VHS tapes, I mean, you're gonna have to
and
make it through to the end.
it makes you, yeah. Um, I want to say though, I mean, I guess you got way off the classical music discussion, but there was one thing that I wanted to say about that, which I mean, I was just saying like maybe we could think of things that annoy us about related to classical music. One thing for me is Eric Satie. Do you know what I'm
Oh
talking about?
yeah.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
it's like I mean, I don't mind some of his stuff, but what I do, and same with Debussy. It's like it's almost like Debussy. I mean, like if you'd asked me back in high school or something, I feel like that was basically the designed just for like the only thing that like girls could enjoy. I mean, like that was the girl classical for that was a classical composer for girls, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah.
that you were not saying like you're a sissy if you like Debussy, but it's like it was annoying that like like a lot of girls like gravitated toward it, and you just like felt um kind of pensive and just kind of like like oh I love listening to Debussy, it just thinking about their life and their role and everything.
Totally.
So Eric Satie is similar. I mean, I feel like um, that he's somebody that, or he's a composer that when you start talking to people who like indie rockers, or people who like alternative stuff in the late 90s and early 2000s, and just people who are more like rock, known as rock musicians. Whereas in the 80s, Bach was the thing. It was like, oh, you're the metalhead that likes Bach. you
Yeah,
know
yeah,
Now
yeah.
it's like, oh, you're the indie rocker in 2008 that likes Eric Satie. I mean,
Right,
it's like somehow that's like he's got some like legitimacy, some like 100-year legitimacy package that he's delivered to these musicians, who, I don't know. Anything to say about that?
yeah, agreed and same. I mean, uh, Eric Satie's it's the thing that, I feel like I've only listened to it in solidarity with some girl who wants to see if, and I am curious if I can get into the sensitivity of it or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, same feeling. Like, are you capable of being a sensitive, you know, shoegazer? It's a shoegazer
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
band.
there we go. Yeah, it's a shoegaze
Yeah,
classical composer. It's
yeah,
repetitive, you don't have to, and somehow he's like the shoegaze. Maybe there's a little bit of punk, just something like you don't get it. Eric Satie's the classical
right,
composer.
right. Right. Yeah. So I think, I mean, yeah, that's the way I feel about it. There was do you know Carmina Burana?
Yeah.
I mean, there, I'll just say I've had some run-ins with that too. And not in a satanic way. But in a cry, not me, but in a woman crying emotional, like it's like listening to music because you're hurt, but you want to hurt more. It's like it's like the person wants to
They need the music to
drama
drive their emotions.
drive the drama. It's a drama driver. So and if that's your association with it, for me, it's always going to be that way. I mean, it's really hard to pull out of that. It's the circle of fifths
Yeah.
trap. It's hard to pull
Yeah.
out of the drama trap of that crap.
God, I mean, I don't know if I'm just, creating a memory in my head, but I want to say that, like, I was in some situation where, there was a female who was very upset, and I came into the situation, and Carmina Burana was, like, cranked up on the combo stereo, the silver, early mid or early 90s combo stereo, cranked up to like 10, just like,
Yeah.
and it's like meant to just, make somebody who comes into that situation afraid. It's like, setting a bunch of landmines out,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know Carmina
yeah,
Burana
yeah,
is a landmine music.
yeah, yeah.
Watch out, watch
Watch
out,
out. Yeah.
you fucking
I'm
watch out.
I'm capable of this. I am capable of this. Yeah, yeah. This is how I feel inside. All of that
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah. It's not inside anymore. It's on the outside. You watch out.
Yeah. So my Honda Accord speaker blasted as hard as it can.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's good shit.
uh,
And back to the movie. I mean, just, you know, I didn't like the operatic shit in Amadeus. I mean, it was both the music and the acting sections were icky. They were icky, and I felt like it was. Oh God, I gotta tell you this. I just gotta abandon what I was saying because we don't have that much time left. But it's really funny that you brought all this shit up because, or that we did, because yesterday Maria said Nathan reminds me of Edward Rooney. And I immediately went to Amadeus,
Oh yeah.
because Edward Rooney's in it,
Wow.
and he's the best. I mean, he's the best. That guy.
Yeah.
The too many.
Until he became the worst in real life.
Oh, really? Oh, you mean by being you, or did he do
No,
something? The
well,
actor do
it's
something?
no, it's interesting because we were talking about Edward Rooney the other day as well. What was that in relation to? Oh, Beetlejuice. They went to the family. They
Oh,
went to see
that's
Beetlejuice.
why. That's why. Man, that's why it came up in our thing too.
Okay, so it's not like that weird. There's a Beetlejuice trigger, but
Right, right.
yeah, and so Tara, it was like, well, there's not. Yeah, he wasn't in the movie. He wasn't in the movie, or one of the kids. I think no, actually, one of our kids was talking about it and saying, yeah, the original dad wasn't in the movie, um, because he was canceled because he was a pedophile, and I was like, oh, I thought he died. I mean, for some reason, I have this, and this is like a Mandela effect thing. I mean, I distinctly remember hearing like 12 years ago that he died of a heart attack. But
Wow.
yeah, and so I was telling Tara that I was like, wait, I thought he died. And she was like, no, no, he went to jail. He's out. But he's canceled. He,
Wow.
yeah, he was like
Okay,
messing around with kids or whatever,
I didn't know that. Was he,
or
so
something.
is he in the movie?
Not the new one. No, no. I mean, he's
Oh, he's not in the
done.
new one.
He's
Okay.
done.
Dang, okay.
Which
I
is,
didn't know
I mean,
that.
obviously too bad on many levels. um,
Yeah, yeah.
I, I guess I'd like to, you know, I, I wish I still thought he was dead.
Well, I didn't know any of that. And now we are running short on time, and I just wanted to refer back before we
Oh, I'm sorry. I
quit.
didn't mean to derail
No,
your
don't
thought.
be sorry, because this is derailing. The other night at 3 a.m., I was chuckling to myself that they should have called Sonny Rollins. Sonny Rollins' nickname should have been Big Bird. I mean, don't you think that's good? I just thought,
Yeah,
man, why wasn't that his jazz handle? You know.
I don't know.
I was trying to listen to There Will Never Be Another You. I was like listening to some different versions of it. Um, Trying to decide, because I've had to play that song so many times,
Hmm.
and I was trying to decide if I like it or not, as a composition. So I was listening to different people's versions. But man, I saw that Sonny Rollins one, and it was at an art museum. And at first I was trying to get into how they were kind of swinging. It's real ahead, like the drums and the bass and stuff. They're pushing a lot, and the swing is on the back end. It's kind of opposite of the placement that I'm used to. So I was trying to get into it, and then it just dawned on me. I was like, oh, they're at some art opening, and they don't want to play this. So they're just so somebody called it or somebody requested it, and they're trying to run it into the ground or something. Or they're trying to make it almost unrecognizable, and they're just,
Yeah,
they're
well, the
they're
drummer in that
mocking it.
sounded terrible. I mean, it was like I've never. It's such what a cloddy. I mean, it seemed like dirt. It just reminded me of dirt clods rolling. Like if
Dude,
somebody had like a bunch of dirt clods in their shirt, like they just like made a little basket with their shirt, and then they just like kind of let it go, and they just kind of like rolled down a driveway or something. That's what the drum sound reminded me of.
totally. I played it for Oliver, and I said, Oliver, I listened to this whole thing. It's one of the worst jazz things I can think of. And I played it for him. And,
Yeah. It was
I,
65, but the drums, I mean, the production sounded like it was like in the 70s, but it's not, it's weird. Anyway, I guess we're
yeah.
done. We're
All
out
right,
of
man. It
time.
was fun.
Yeah, you
It
too.
was good.
Bye.
See ya.